completed a mentorship program, which basically meant that you hit a specific premium quota, and I with all my agents, I bring them on at a subcontract or sub-street contract level. And the reason into my agents, now that you've hit the quota, you've been moved to street level, and you've closed, well over 50 policies. You've had a variety, like you said, of experiences in the final expense industry, in the world that we deal with and the people that we see. If you were speaking maybe to somebody listening to this that was thinking about entering this field, can you give them, and I know you really have over the entirety of this call, but can you summarize more or less what a real-world view of this business is like, and what they can expect, and specifically, what's good about it, and then what's, bad about it?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, bottom line is it's a great opportunity to make really good money, setting your own hours, and being your own boss. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's really true. And the other thing that I liked what you told me to do was, the old adage of kids, keep it simple, stupid. Basically just, this is not rocket science. You don't want to get too technical because you're going to lose your client. That part of it is, it's a business that is easy to learn when you really make a commitment to it. You can pick it up. And again, as I said before, I like setting my own appointments. Some people want to do appointment setters. That's fine too, but I just feel that I have the vested interest in making each appointment because I'm going to be the one selling it. But getting in terms of your good and the bad, well, as I said, the good part is, you're your own boss, and really you only have to report to one person, that's your spouse. And being able to set your own appointments on your own schedule, there may be a time during the week. Like a lot of the really high volume FE guys, they work 2 to 3 days a week, that's it. And they spend time doing other things. And so they've said in the past that, this is one of these businesses where you can make a very, very, very good living working 2 or 3 days a week. Now, the average person's going to see this, I can work 2 to 3 days a week. That's when you're really going strong and you know what you're doing. Initially, I work 5 days a week, sometimes 6, not 8 to 10 hours a day per se, but I do, spend a lot of time making sure that I get the appointments and so forth, and sometimes that requires a little bit extra work. But I like the one and done part of the sale. Pretty much you go in, you write an app, and you walk out, either with a check or with the EFT information, and you're done with that. And so that to me is huge. I like the ability, being independent, to be able to pick and choose the insurance companies I want to work with. I tell clients that I don't work for any insurance companies. I work for you. I'm on your side. I want to get you the best deal I possibly can. I have 10 companies that I work with, and based upon your health, I'm able to steer you to a company that will give you the face amount that you want, but a low-level premium. And that's the key, low-level premium. Most of the time, they're not used to that. If they've got AARP or something like that, well, every 5 years, their premiums go up. Plus, it's a term policy. It's going to terminate anyway. And again, the fact is that if for some reason a company isn't working out, I'll dump them. I'll get another company. So there's a lot of flexibility there. You're not beholden to one company. If you're a captive agent, you don't have a choice. And did I say, again, great commissions. Street level is amazing, and you pay your dues, but then once you go to street level, it's a whole different ball game. So you're like in the minor leagues when you first start out, and then you go into the majors. I like sports analogies. But you're ready to go. You get the big contract, and you move forward. But even doing that, you're still available to me anytime I need you. And so that's a huge plus also. So even though I'm on my own, I'm not really on my own. I have support, and that's a huge thing. Now, obviously with this, there's got to be some bads there. You wouldn't believe me when I'm talking. So bottom line is that you got to deal with people who are lacking in manners, not all, personal hygiene and common sense. I know it sounds bad, but it's true. And you just gotta understand that you're dealing with somebody that you may have to say something 5 times for them to get it, or you may have to say it a different way. I'm a big believer of using analogies and things like that in terms of, for example, that type of thing, to make them understand what we're doing. You have to have patience. And I'll be honest with you, I'm ADD, so I'm blowing and going, and it bugs the heck out of me when I get a no-show. But then again, I say, okay, now what I'm doing is if I get a no-show, I say, okay, it gives me a chance to call to make other appointments. So I always use the time as effectively as I possibly can. You get people you'll call and they'll say, oh, I never left that message, and you're listening to the recorded message that they left. But again, that's just people in general. You need to have a thick skin because some people are really rude. They're just rude. And, but don't take it personally because they're rude to everybody. So it's just one of those things. So just take it with a grain of salt, but you just have to have a thick skin. And it may take some time to spend some money on some leads before you actually start getting some commissions and apps written. Don't get discouraged because there's been days where I've gone through 5 appointments and I didn't get any. And then the next day I'll write 3 apps and it's my week. So I mean, it's up and down. You never know the next call, the next door knock, what it's going to do for you. It could be huge. I went into a house one time. I mean, it was horrible. I was afraid to sit down. It was that bad. I walked out with a $100 a month insurance policy. So don't, the old adage, don't tell a book by its cover. It's true because sometimes I've gone into houses that are really nice. I walked out with nothing. So it's like the old Forrest Gump thing, nice box of chocolates. These things like that. You never know what you're going to get until you walk into that house and start talking to people. So that's a bad thing, but it's also a good thing too because it's never dull. But getting back to the spending money on leads, if you don't spend money on leads, you're not going to be in this business very long, and that's the key. You can't be in this business and be underfunded. If you are, you might as well be looking for something else because you're not going to make it. And that's pretty much it for the bad.
Yeah, and I think you hit on some good golden nuggets there. I mean, number one, you always have to have money set up for your leads. That's critical. That's number one, in my opinion. The right leads, of course, but at least have somebody to talk to because that's the way that we write business. And then, number two, there is an up and down of this business. It's one thing I can tell you with utmost honesty that I still struggle with, and I think all agents do to various degrees, but, you cannot judge your success in this business on a daily basis. Now, of course, you have to run each appointment. You have to do everything you can, everything in your power to sell the appointment, but that doesn't mean you're going to. You want to lose the right way. But you may lose the right way on 5 of your appointments, or 3 on them, and then the other 2 no-show. But you have to continually force yourself and habitualize looking at a longer-term perspective, on a weekly or even a monthly basis of your performance because, while the results are random in the short term, the law of large numbers tends to produce a more consistent income. And, you have to just train yourself to think like that. So it's good that you recognize that. Every agent has frustrations when it comes to getting out there and working. But if you keep to it, you work your system as you planned it, typically it continues to work. Lastly, a couple questions here and we'll be good to go. And Chip, I really appreciate your time, of course.
My pleasure.
If you would, summarize the top 3 most beneficial reasons to do the final expense mentorship program overall.
David Duford. Yeah, that's it. But in all seriousness, it is that because having somebody, and you have a track record of being successful in all of the different companies that you worked with initially starting out and being independent now. So, as I said, you don't go to people who write books and never do anything and try to be successful. You go to people who walk the walk and talk the talk. And you do that. You've been successful. You emulate people that, like yourself, that know what they're doing. Your support is second to none. I can pretty much pick up the phone, either text you or call you just about any time I want, and you're either going to be there or you'll be right back to me and give me the answers that I need, and that's huge. So you being successful, you having the support, and the training information that you sent me in terms of reading up on things and kind of going through scenarios and writing and things like that, and a script for both phone call appointments, making the appointments, and also when you're in there in front of the person. So that's huge too. So basically, who you are, your track record, your support is fantastic, and bottom line is you training the material that you gave me, it's been great. It's really helped out a lot.
Very good. I'm glad to hear that. And of course, I have to ask at the very end here, what could I do better? I always constant improvement's important to me, and I always want to look at ways to make my program better for my agent. What could I do better in your opinion now that you've completed the mentorship program?
Well, this is going to sound sappy, but I can't think of anything specifically right now. In terms of support, you're pretty much always there, and so I can't tell people enough how important that is, because if you just started this business and you're new, even if you've been in 6 months, you're always going to come across things that you're like, I've never seen that before. Give David a call, and he probably has, and he can help you, work your way through it. Or if he hasn't, he can at least work with you to help you, solve the problem. So at this point in time, not really anything. You're one person, so you're stretched thin as it is. But as I say, that the biggest thing is the support. That's what makes or breaks you in this business, is having the support of people who know what they're doing and are willing to help you out.
Great. Well, I really did ask that question. I wasn't trying to set it up for a real nice response. I'll let the audience know. I actually am concerned if there is anything I could do better, but
you always tell me that about your feedback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm big on it. It's very important, because in my experience or my position, my agents I have to be responsible for you and your success. And I can't make you go work, but I can do everything up to that point. You have to carry the water, but I can. It's my responsibility, and I think my duty to employ or to empower you to do everything that you can, or to prepare you for battle, for lack of a better description.
Sure.
So that's where a good upline comes in, and that's what their dedication should be to. So in closing, I just want to again thank you for your time, Chip. Hopefully this conversation has been illuminating for the people that are listening on the phone call right now. I will add that it's been a pleasure to work and continue to work with Chip. He's a gentleman and a friend, and especially taking time out of his busy day to do this with just out of the goodness of his heart. Thanks for that, Chip. And if you find interest in this program and would like to investigate further the mentorship program, please visit my website. It is www.f as in Frank, E as in expense, agentmentor.com. There you can read some of my blog and my articles about my personal production, as well as just some insights in the industry. You can listen to my Truth About Final Expense Industry recording. Lots of information there for a guy who's looked around and isn't sure about where to plant his flag and find his home. Lots of good information there. But in the meantime, I want to thank you again, Chip, and thanks for everybody for listening.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.